depth of
I hung that there so it'll, oops. Hi, Christina, how are you?
Hey there, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Going to work right now in a minute after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I'm over here talking to, you see my mouth moving because I'm talking to my girls. I'm directing them because I take care of adults with developmental disabilities, but they are getting ready to go to their day program. And
Good.
so,
Now this is your day program, right?
yeah, thank goodness for the day program.
Christina!
Hi, how's it going?
It's warm. I just got a vertigo. I'm just getting over this vertigo.
Oh no, did you have an ear infection or something?
No, it was from the smoke.
Oh yeah, I'm dealing with it too, and I am half deaf in both of my ears. So I can really, like, if I go like this, it's because I can't hear you even though the volume's up.
Oh, okay. My niece told me to hang upside down.
Everybody,
so
good afternoon.
that's horrible.
Guys,
Hey,
we're going to get
Mario.
started in just a few seconds. I'm going to go ahead and hit everybody on mute. And then in just a few, we're going to get recorded out. Thanks, guys.
Don't say anything yet.
All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and get everything squared away here. So spotlight the video. For those of you guys that are Can you guys see my video? You guys good there? You guys hear me? Okay, good. Awesome. So let's go ahead and go to gallery view really quickly. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and record in the cloud, which we already are doing. Perfect. So guys, listen, welcome to our Wednesday Lunch and Learn. And I know we have a lot of new people that are joining, so welcome. Very excited for you guys to be able to learn what we do to become a professional in this industry. So listen, we have a turnkey system that has allowed us to really build a very big team, a lot of success, a lot of testimonials, a lot of trips. It's been an awesome run in our first 18 months. But one of the things that I pride myself on, guys, is helping to teach you guys the fundamentals of this particular industry. And the reason behind that is because there is nothing like the network marketing industry. Okay, I've had people over the course of the last 10 years join my team from all walks of life. Literally, I've had a brain surgeon, I've had stay-at-home moms, I've had college students, you know, chiropractors, I mean, real estate professionals, and all of these people have been very, very successful, right, in their own right, in their own profession. And what I found is network marketing, home-based business is different than anything else that's out there, and it requires a different set of skill sets. And I talk about this often on Wednesdays, that the skill sets necessary to be successful in network marketing, guys, are a couple. So I'm going to go over those with you real quick. And I know that a lot of us have been taking notes on this. So there's only 7, okay? And if you've read Eric Worre's book called Go Pro, 7 skills to becoming a network marketing professional, okay? There's only 7 skills that he talks about, and those are the only things that you should focus on mastering, okay? Number 1 is finding prospects. We've covered that already. Number 2, inviting. So inviting people to take a look at your products or your opportunity. We've covered that already. Number 3, presenting your product. How do you present? Number 4, which is what we're going to cover today, follow up with your prospects. Number 5 is closing, okay? And I know some people don't like that word, but closing people basically means helping people to make an actual decision for becoming a customer or becoming a distributor, a brand partner. Number 6 is getting people started the right way. So launching people, helping people get their business launched. And then number 7 is growing your team and promoting events. So by promoting events. So getting people onto these calls. These are events. Even though they're virtual events, this is a skill set, okay? This is something that you've got to get good at, okay? So number 7 is promoting for events. So today we're going to talk about follow-up and why follow-up is so important. You guys have probably heard people say it before, you know, the fortune is in the follow-up. But let me set the table for you guys a little bit, okay? So what I've seen in regards to follow-up is this. People are really bad with follow-up, okay? And there's a number of reasons why, but I think we do so much to get to the point where people take a look at the information, right? They put their eyeballs on it. And you're like, because how many of you guys put a number 1 if you would agree that it's not easy to get somebody to get in front of the information, right? To get somebody to actually get on a Zoom, get on a Connect call, right? So that's pretty hard. Type a number 1 if you think that's pretty tough, okay? So a lot of times people expend so much energy to get somebody in front of the information, and then they go like this, all right, cool. They took a look at it. Guys, what we need to understand is that's just the first step. Now the real work begins, because the fortune is in the follow-up, and brand partners fall in one of 2 categories as it pertains to follow-up. Either A, you do too much, okay? Or B, you don't do enough. So what is doing too much? Like if you had a call today at 12 noon Pacific, okay? What I would encourage you guys to do is your first follow-up should be, okay, at least 24 hours later. Right? Let's say you have a call, even worse. I see this often. We have a call at 7 o'clock tonight, okay? We have a connect call at 7 o'clock tonight. We send them information. And then first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. the next morning, the brand partner's like, hey, did you take a look at all the information? What do you think? What do you like most about it? Would you want to get on a call? And the person is like, yo, like, no, I didn't even take a look at it yet. Like, right? What do you think that puts off to the prospect? That you're thirsty, right? You're the person that's like, oh my God, please let him look at the training, and first thing in the morning, inspire him to want to get started. And first, bam, you're like, whoa, right? They're like, hey, hold on. That's an example of people doing too much. Let them breathe, okay? On the flip side, it's like the person who has a call, right? A connect call at 7 p.m. tonight, and they do nothing. Then I have to be like, hey, Ashley, what happened to Lucy? The girl we talked, was that her name, Lucy? Oh yeah, we spoke to her on Wednesday, right? Yeah. What's going on with her? Oh, I don't know. I sent her the video. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're either breathing down their neck or you just like forgot about them. Okay. And either one of those are not good. So you have to understand, guys, that follow-up, it's very important to do what you say you're going to do. Okay. Very important to do what you say you're going to do. So if you say, hey, I'm going to send you a couple videos out, do it. Okay. If you say, hey, listen, I'm going to, get you some information about a webinar, do it. I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Do it. Because you never know if the person is sizing you up and not just the opportunity. Right? Because you guys know that getting involved in an opportunity is only as good as getting involved with the specific person, right? So they're trying to see if you're about it. Like if you're really serious about what you say you're going to do and you follow up. Okay. So the other thing is just following up is just taking a person from one exposure to the next. That's your job. See, I think a lot of times we think an exposure is just about the end result. Okay. So for me, I think of it like if I have 10 people that I'm working in my pipeline right now, I'm like holding 10 people's hands along a journey of understanding and education. Some people only need 2 or 3 exposures and they're in. Some people need 10, 15, 20 exposures. So my job is not to close them. My job is to get them through exposures, because you're going to hear me say this quite a bit. The result, the end game, the objective is education and understanding. That's it. Our job is not to get them. Does that make sense? Our job is not to get them. Our job is to bring them education and understanding. And we have to understand the average person joins a network marketing company after 4 to 6 exposures. So let me take you through that. So let's say I send a text message to Cassie Juarez. So I send a text to Cassie. She says, yeah, I'm open. Let's get on a call. So we get on a connect call. That's exposure number 1. Okay. Then I get Cassie on a call. I put her on the phone with Ricky. Ricky says, hey, once we're off, Cassie, let us send you some more information. Take a look at, some of the videos about the products. That's exposure number 2, because when Cassie looks at the videos, that's exposure number 2. So now the next day we follow up and say, Cassie, what did you like about the videos? Oh my gosh, I originally contacted Cassie about CBD, but through the process of learning about the product, she says, yeah, I actually did watch them and I'm very interested in learning about Renew. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, and I tell her a little bit more. Maybe I send her a PDF about Renew. And then I also send her a video of Liana's testimony of Renew. That's exposure number 3. Okay. So I sent a text, hey, what did you think about that? Did you like that? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah. Were your wheels moving? That's what happened to me. Yeah. So, are you ready to make a decision, to get started? No, I don't know if that I'm necessarily ready yet. It's okay. Actually, what I was going to do is I was going to invite you to a Zoom on Thursday night where one of our top leaders, Jackie Vasquez, is going to be sharing the information in its entirety, like in a PowerPoint format. Would you want to jump on that? Sure. There's exposure number 4. right? And then maybe Ricky took the first call, but after Thursday night, you decide, or, you're feeling like maybe she needs a female's perspective. So I asked Cassie, hey, I'd love for you to jump on a call tomorrow and hear my good friend, her name is Tanya, hear her story. She made 6 figures in her first 10 months. Perfect. There's exposure number 5. So I think if we're all being honest, our journeys are all different. Some of you literally somebody gave you a CBD sample. You slept that night, you called her and were like, holy crap, I'm in. What is this? Bam, you're done. And here's the problem. Have you guys ever heard that the worst thing that can happen to you when you go to Las Vegas is within your first 20 minutes, you hit something big? Have you guys ever heard that before? Worst thing that can happen to you when you get to Vegas, you're going for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, within your first 20 minutes, you hit something big. Because guess what now? All weekend, you're chasing that again, right? You see, Lucy said no. Lucy's been, all weekend you've been there, right? I think the worst thing that happens to us sometimes is that either you join on the spot or your first 2 or 3 people join on the spot. Because if that happens, that's all you think everybody does. And if you think everybody joins on the spot, you're living in disappointment. You're constantly overwhelmed. You're constantly like, geez, man, this freaking sucks. What's going on? I joined on the spot. My first person that I put in joined on the spot. My second person joined in on the spot. What am I doing wrong? Right? That's the worst thing that could happen for you guys. So set up the follow-up. Here's another thing that's important, guys. I want you to get in the habit of setting up the follow-up call at the first exposure. So this is important. Let's say I'm on the call with Cassie. Cassie is my prospect, but I have Tanya doing the connect call. So I'm the brand partner. Tanya is my edified expert, and Cassie is my prospect. Once it's all said and done, before the call is over, Tanya jumps off. Before I'm done with Cassie, I'm going to say, hey, okay, so Cassie, when we're done, I'm going to put you on a 3-way text with Tanya. And she's going to send you a 3-way text, or we're going to send you a 3-way text with a bunch of information. I think a little bit about the products, a little bit about how our compensation plan works. Do you think you'd be able to watch that before tomorrow at 4 o'clock? Because I'd like to schedule like your follow-up at that time. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, cool. So here's a key. So when you ask them once, reaffirm it twice. Okay, cool. So Cassie, if I sent you 2 videos, one on prospects, one on products and one on comp plan, you can have those watched by tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific. Awesome, cool. I'll call you then, okay? Awesome. So you always set up your follow-up right then and there. Now, here's what I would tell you though, okay? That you don't always have to have the first, like Tanya. I don't have to have Tanya be on that follow-up call, okay? What I would suggest would be going back into the diamond text, okay? So if I get off the call, Tanya just jumped off because she's on another call. She's off to another one, right? And then I schedule 4 o'clock follow-up call tomorrow with Cassie, okay? I'm gonna go back to my diamond text and go, hey guys, who's available tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific? I've got a follow-up call with the prospect named Cassie. We just did a connect call today with Tanya. She really liked it. And if Tanya's available, she's going to say, I'll get it, girl. Because maybe we were jiving good. But sometimes having a different perspective helps. So always set up your next exposure at the first exposure. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, hold on. All right, so guys, this is keep the peanut gallery and chat. Let's stop. You guys sound like you're at the bar. You're like, yeah, I wish, right? Jim Rohn said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. That's what Jim Rohn said, not me. Don't shoot the messenger, right? If any of you guys have ever heard John Maxwell speak, this is going to be my new saying. John Maxwell always says, hey, my name is John, and I'm your friend. And then he delivers something tough. So I'm going to say, hey guys, my name is Mario and I'm your friend. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Wish you were better, right? So listen, guys. So then when you follow up the next day, okay? So when you follow up the next day, here's what I would say. Hey, so you want to make sure, did they do what we talked about? So if I call Cassie back at 4 p.m., okay? First thing I'm gonna say, hey, Cassie, did you watch the information, the video, the link, the webinar, whatever? Did you do what we said? Okay? And you're gonna get people that say, no, okay? No, I didn't. Here's the first thing. You can't get emotional. You can't get irritated. You can't be bothered when they don't do what they say, okay? You can't be like, dude, are you serious? Come on. Angie, you said you were going to watch it. And you know what? I can only work with people who are serious about, you know, what they say and what they don't. Start giving them a lecture, okay? You have to be able to say, okay, hey, no problem. I understand life gets in the way, you know, and it happens, okay? So when can you watch the information? For sure, right? You know, and it's funny, Eric Worre always says, say for sure. Like, so Angie, I get it. Yesterday, you probably got sidetracked. I know you got called into work. It's totally normal. Get it. So when can you watch the information? For sure. I'll watch it tonight. Perfect. So if I called you tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you know, you'll have the information watched. Yes. Awesome. So you just redo that. Now, remember, if they're vague, okay, then you have to be able to kind of level with them a little bit. So if she doesn't watch it the first time and I'm like, listen, no problem, Angie, I get it. Like, you know, sometimes life gets in the way. I've had those days myself, but when can you watch the information? For sure. And she starts going, well, you know, this week's going to be kind of tough. And, you know, my grandma's coming into town this weekend. And mind you, I sent you a 6-minute video. Okay. So technically, and this is what I think bothers us sometimes, because we're multitaskers, right? So technically, a 6-minute video, you could watch that on the toilet. Like, let's just be honest, okay? But my grandma's coming into town, and we've got, how about next week? And you are like, in your mind, you're like, really? It's a 6-minute video. Come on, right? So you have to be able to say, look, I don't want to waste your time, Angie, really, just out of respect. You know, I don't want to waste your time. You definitely don't want to waste my time. And I'm not a chaser. So if this is something that you're really serious about, you know, let's try and figure out a way to get this watched by tomorrow evening. I mean, after all, it's 6 minutes, right? Did you notice that I'm smiling when I'm talking? See, because I'm saying something kind of tough, but I'm smiling when I'm smiling when I say it, because when you smile and say something tough, it comes off differently, right? So, I mean, because let's, you know, after all, it's only 6 minutes, right? Even if I'm on the phone with somebody, they're going to feel that. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to level with them a little bit if they're being vague, because here's what people do. Okay. Hold on. Here's what people do, because we're so hungry to get people on our team. Some of us have follow-up lists that are like 75 people long. And like every single week we're like, hey, Ashley, it's Mario. Just wanted to see if now's a better time. And then same thing. Hey, Cheryl, hope you're doing well, staying safe. Just want to check up for you, because you're afraid to level with people. You're afraid to try to just say, hey, listen, I'm cool. Like, either way, we're still going to be friends, right? But don't lead me on. Does that make sense? So as we're going down, guys, we're going to talk about, because you're going to start to get objections, okay? And so first off, there's a couple of points about questions and objections that I want to get across to you. But first off, let's start here. When your people start giving you objections and questions, first things first, understand that this is natural and this is normal, okay? Because your prospects, they want to feel or sound smart. So they're going to just try and give you some kind of question. It really has little to do with an actual objection, just more like, I don't know if I should feel like I'm laying down and jumping in on the first spot, because sometimes people feel weird because they feel like, oh man, this guy sold me in one shot. I got to make him work for it a little bit. So I'm going to ask some random questions. It's like the person that's in the drive-thru at McDonald's and they say, yeah, you know what? I did take a look at that stuff, but I need to know more about these ingredients. And you're like, hold on one sec. Yeah, can I get a Big Mac combo, large, with a Diet Coke? Yeah, so tell me about those ingredients. You're like, what? You're in line at McDonald's and you're asking me a question about ingredients? It's less about the actual ingredients and it's more about them just feeling the need and desire to ask questions. So here's what you cannot do. You cannot get defensive. And you cannot get offensive either. Being defensive and offensive are both wrong. You guys get that? Okay. So when their answer is no thanks, just say no worries, go to the next one. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay. So we can't get defensive or offensive. So let me give you an example of defensive. When somebody says, you know what, no thanks, Christina, this just sounds like one of those pyramid things. And then you go, oh, you mean like every single corporation in the history of the United States? They're all pyramid schemes too. That's being defensive, okay? Or when you say like, oh, that's so funny, pyramid schemes, like those don't even exist anymore. Do you go to church, by the way? You know who heads out your church? Your pastor. And you know who's below him? His board. And you know who's below him? The church member. Everywhere. That's being defensive. Don't do that, okay? Right? Now, offensively is kind of the same, where it's like, oh, really? That's funny because I learned, boom, 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 right? Where you try to just make them feel stupid. And believe me, guys, I think you know my personality. Like, I'm not going to lie, like the inner bully from like 10 years old still is in there sometimes. And sometimes if somebody says something dumb, I do want to make them look dumb. Like, and I have to fight it. Like, oh, yeah, does that sound like a pyramid? And I'm like, really, bro? Like, oh, yeah, and I just want to go after him, right? Both of those are wrong. Here's what you have to do when you get an objection. You have to act like a consultant, because the objection, right, or the question is normal. So here's what I would say. I want you guys to act like, let's say, instead of me trying to be the person to close Tanya to join the team, if Tanya presents some objections to me, I'm going to act like Tanya's my friend, and she just said, hey, Mario, listen, I'm about to join this company, and I'm not too sure about it yet. I'm not asking you to join, but would you do me a favor and like take a look at it with me and see, do you think this would be a good fit for me because you know me? If that was a situation, you would be a consultant, right? So you'd come in like on behalf of Tanya, looking at the information. So you would ask things like to Tanya, like, listen, what are you looking for, right? What is it that you want to do? Is it, do you think that these products are something that you can get behind? Or do you think that this mission is something that you can get passionate about? You have to start asking questions. That's the key. So when somebody presents you objections or questions, understand it's normal. Don't get defensive or offensive. Become a consultant and start asking questions, right? Because the goal is what? Education and understanding. It's not about getting them. See, the best approach that I've found, guys, is to relate to them. That's key. So when somebody says, I'm just so worried about this because of X, Y, and Z, the first thing that you could say would be like, oh my gosh, I felt the same way, right? Because that person, would you guys agree that your person thinks that you're so gung-ho about this that no matter what they say, you're gonna be like, no, my God, you're nuts. You're not seeing it, right? The last thing they would say or expect for you to say would be like, oh, dude, I totally get it. Like, I felt the same way, right? So you've got to be able to relate to them. If you can relate to them, say things like, you know what, that makes total sense, Jen. Or Angelica, oh my gosh, I felt the same way, right? Let me tell you what I've learned, or let me tell you what I've heard. Let me tell you what I've experienced, okay? And a classic example is, listen, I try, when we're recruiting, you know, it's funny, I could see the differences in people based on where they live. For those of you guys that take Connect calls, have you guys taken a call from somewhere in like small town America and they've said that CBD is something that's still kind of hush-hush where they live? Have you guys taken a call like that? I know I have. Like, people are like, oh, you know, I'm from Texas, or where I live in Georgia, right? Or they're like, you know, CBD is kind of like, people still think it's weed. And instead of being like, huh, that's so stupid, right? You say, oh my gosh, I actually kind of felt the same way, but here's what I've heard. Here's what I've found. Here's what I've experienced over my last year. So you're educating, right? And helping them to gain a better understanding. It goes way farther. It goes way farther than trying to prove them wrong, trying to prove that they're dumb, right? Trying to make an example out of them of some sort, okay? So as we close, guys, and today, give it a little shorter, but maybe I'll take some questions from you guys after. But so all objections fall into two categories. Very simple, okay? All objections fall into two categories. The first is this: the prospect has limited belief in their abilities. They have limited belief in themselves, okay? Oh, I don't think I could do this. I don't have enough money. You know what? I don't know enough people. I don't have enough time, right? Those are all just their limited belief in themselves, right? Number two, the second one is their limited belief in network marketing. Oh, this is not a real business. Only people at the top of those things make money. This is a scam. People lose money in those things. Literally, everything you guys can come up with falls into one of those two categories. So let's get some interaction here, okay? So what are, let's say, objections / reasons why people don't join your team? Let's see if they don't all fall into one of these two categories. Hopefully y'all are texting. I'm waiting for you guys to put some stuff in here. That's not a question. Not enough money falls into number one. It's a scam. That's number two. Number two, no time, number one. They get network marketing is not for me. Limited belief, that could be both of them. No time, number one. Not enough time. Already taking CBD, that's customer approach. Has nothing really to do with business. I'm not a good salesperson, number one. Did it before, followed the system 6 months, made no money, number one. Not a salesperson, number one. I don't like sales, number one. Doesn't like MLM, number two. Too busy, number one. Do you see what I'm saying? Like every single one. I take better stuff, that's product. Too busy to take kids, too busy, okay, number one. Not right now, not the right time, that's number one. I can't do what you do. I don't talk like you, that's number one. Doesn't like people, number one, right? Good luck on that. I don't like people. What a weirdo. Not a sales guy, number one. It's really just one of two things, right? They either don't believe in themselves or they don't believe in network marketing. So to enroll people into your team, you have to get good at number that's expensive. That's if you're selling products. So it's still lack of understanding. They don't understand science. So to enroll people, you have to help them in one of these two categories. You have to. So in order to help them in one of these two categories. You have to get better at education and understanding. You have to get good at asking questions. So here is my my kind of like encouragement to you. You're not going to be good at this at the beginning, okay? Right? This is a skill. So don't alienate your upline in the follow-up process. So one of the massive keys, okay, one of the massive keys to success in follow-up is don't take your follow-up process offline. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I'm the brand partner and I'm trying to recruit Loretta, okay? So I get Loretta on the phone with Deb Tapia, right? Deb is my edified upline, right? So we do the connect call. Deb says, put us on a three-way text. Let's get you some more info, Loretta. Perfect. So we do that. Deb or I send out information to Loretta. And then next day, instead of following up on that three-way text, I text Loretta by herself. Now what I've done is I've taken my expert out of the equation, right? That's my backup. That's your backup, guys. How many of you guys grew up with like a big brother or a big sister and like that was your backup when you were in school? I had an older cousin and like I used to like to scrap when I was little, but I always liked the fact that I had an older cousin that was like, all right, bro, just wait. I'm gonna call my cousin. I'm gonna call my brother, right? And you guys ever have that backup person, right? See, that is who we are for you. We are your backup. But so many of you guys take us out of the equation, and then having these conversations are impossible for you because you're new. So if you follow the system of just setting up an exposure to the next exposure, Deb said she was the backup. Deb starts putting her hair up already. Deb puts her hair up. She starts putting her rings on. I see you, Deb. Lorraine's like this. So listen, if you're following and setting up one exposure to the next, what you're doing, okay, is you're always creating an environment where you're going to have a conversation with them with someone else. And then how are we learning? We're watching, right? Mario, how did you get so good at overcoming these objections and asking these questions? Guys, I've been in this game for 10 years. I've literally been some of the best. I watched some of the best sit there and do this for me, and I'm sitting there taking notes. Have any of you guys had a connect call, a follow-up call, or any type of call with your upline and a prospect, and when you got off, you were like, dang, that's so good. Oh, geez, I never would have thought of that. How do you think we learn? You do not learn being on your own island. So this is why I tell you guys, sometimes those of us that have been successful in other areas fail miserably because their ego gets in the way. Mara, do you know how many houses I sell per month? Do we think I need you to help close? And then you go off on the island and nobody joins your team. And then 6 months from now, when you quit, you say, oh, Visayo doesn't work. I tried that thing. I did everything they said. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Right? So let's see here. Let me see if there's any questions. Didn't know we could use you guys in the follow-up. Yes, Lucy. Yes. We want to be used for follow-up. All right. Any questions, guys, that you guys have for me while I'm on the line? I know there's some of you guys that are typing some stuff in here. Any questions that you guys have about follow-up that you have me on? I'm gonna. It's a little shorter today, which is good. That doesn't necessarily need to always be an hour. But any questions about follow-up that I can help you guys with while I have you on the line? Anything that maybe has stumped you? Let's see. All of a sudden, are quiet. I must have did a good job today. Are you guys tracking? Are you guys using the tracker? There's actually a tracker. There's a tracker on the Facebook group that I've created that is really good, and it goes month to month, so you can use it for tracking and following up with people. When prospects ghost you, do you still follow up? No. I have a lot of friends and family who want Visayo products who live in Guam, USA. Maybe call corporate. I'm not sure if we can go there. Maybe somebody knows, but I mean, it's USA, so I wouldn't think not. How do you deal with people who want all the information through Messenger like Facebook? Well, the question would be, how do you get that? How do you get that call up front? Like, how does it get to that place? Because there's probably something you're doing that's getting that. The second answer would be just shoot them the YouTube video. Say, listen, I can send you a 3-minute video. That's the ATM video that kind of gives you a high level of what we do. And if you like what you hear, let me know. And then third would be to just say, that's not what we do. See, it comes down to posture. So most of us have at one time or another applied for a job, right? It's safe to say everybody's applied for a job, okay? And you send your resume and you apply online. What if somebody called you back and they're like, hey, Andrea, this is Mario from ABC Company. We got your resume yesterday, and we would like to set up a phone interview with you for tomorrow. And Andrea said, oh, no, I want to come in. Excuse me? No, I'd like to come in for an in-person interview. Yeah, that's not how we do things. Yeah, but I want to come in for an in-person interview. Have a good day. Right? Do you go by what they tell you, or do you make your own rules? You have to have enough posture in this business to say, yeah, sorry, we don't do that. But here's what I always do a lot as well, okay? So I say to them, listen, we're offering a revenue share. And because we're offering a revenue share, we don't just blindly send out information to people. We need to make sure that you're the right person. So, if you're unwilling to at least take a phone call, I can probably assume you're the wrong person. So, hey, have a great day. Peace out. We don't need to get everybody. Remember. So don't be afraid to posture up. Okay. Let's see here. How to use the tracker. I didn't know about it. It's on the Facebook group. It basically, I write down anybody in there. It's very similar to your black book. Okay. I have a black book. I actually use the black book, but I know a lot of people like are tech savvy. Some of you guys that are new, you're like, what the heck is the black book? So I have a black book that is somewhere right here. What is that? It's on my desk somewhere. Well, that's scary. So I have a little black book that I keep with me pretty much everywhere. Okay. Now this black book, the only people that go into this book, here we go. Ha! The only people, it was in the wrong zipper. Okay. The only people who go into this book, okay, are people who have expressed interest in learning more, right? You have to be able to kind of decipher in your own gut if this is a real prospect or not. So I prospect a lot of people, but until somebody engages me and I really feel like they're a real prospect, I put them in here. And they never come out of this book, ever. Also, nothing else ever goes in this book. I don't write notes in this book like, oh, I'm on a call, let me write notes. This is my Visayo book. No, this is my prospect book and my prospect book only. I actually have another folder that is specific to Visayo notes only, okay? So notes and prospects are different, okay? Now, the only time a person comes out of that prospect book is when they literally say, Mario, stick your company where the sun doesn't shine and leave me the hell alone, right? That's the only time I scratch them out. Otherwise, I either put a star next to them when I enroll them or they stay in there. And here's why. This is why I like this old school method, okay? Now, the same rule applies if you decide to use the actual Excel tracker, okay? The other reason why, okay, Mario, has that ever happened? Yes, absolutely. The reason I like this as well is because I can keep a little notebook on me at all times. I pretty much carry my backpack with me everywhere, okay? I don't always have my laptop. So if I'm at the store or I'm at Staples or I'm at the mall or the baseball field, I can easily pull this out and write a quick note, right? Whereas if I use the tracker on the laptop, it's hard to get back to it, okay? So it's very difficult, okay, to use your tracker, for me at least, like on the fly. But why I like this as well is because, guys, I get people that ask me questions that express interest on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, right? Through text, in person. And so I like this because it's like a one stop. Because if I look back to Facebook and I'm like, oh, who are the people who were asking me stuff yesterday? I'm forgetting about LinkedIn. But then I get on the LinkedIn and I forget about Instagram, right? So whenever somebody expresses interest, I put them all in one place, because here's what will happen. If I'm scrolling through there and I'm just like, oh my gosh, right? Let's say we just launched something, or, let's say somebody just joined the team that is a chiropractor. And in my mind, I'm like, I know I was talking to a chiropractor. And I go back and I'm like, boom, right there. Pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, hope you're doing well. I thought of you because we just had a gentleman join the team in Florida, and he's a chiropractor like you. He's blowing it up, right? So I'm calling with a purpose, but I'll never remember who that is if I didn't have it in one spot. Okay, does that make sense, guys? So let's see. So we should insist on going in for the interview. No. What I'm telling you is it's a posture, Grace. It's just a posture. There's no right or wrong answer in this business. It's a people's business. So that was a direct answer to a direct question. What should I say if somebody will not give me information? I said there was 3 answers, right? Number 1, right? You can send them the video itself, right? Number 2, you can also tell them that, hey, this is just kind of the way it is. And I forgot what the 3rd was. There's options to everything. There's no cookie cutter answer. Okay, there's no cookie cutter answer. So they have no time because they have too much on their hands taking care of their family member who is bedridden and not enough income to commit to anything after retirement. That falls into number 1, Christina. Okay. Number 2, you're so new. So I'm hoping you're just making this up. You're so new. You shouldn't be having these objections yet because you're not having these conversations. Your job is to get them on the phone, right? So let me touch on that 1 sec. And this is not directed at any one person, okay? But listen, let's say I launch Yaneri today. Okay, so I launch Yaneri and I say to her, listen, you got to send out 40 texts, which get you 15 calls, and 15 calls, we should get you 4 people on your team. Here's the texting script. Go. And then in 3 days, I hear nothing from Yaneri. Like, we don't see anything in the diamond text. Nothing's coming up. She's not scheduling anything. So then I come back around and I say, hey, Yaneri, what's going on? How you doing? I haven't heard anything from you. And here's what I get. Yaneri says, yeah, I've got 2 people who want to be a customer. I got another guy who says he's really interested in the Fortify pack, but he doesn't have enough money. And then I've got another guy that, I'm doing good things. Time out. What's wrong with that problem? What's wrong with that answer from Yaneri? By the way, Yaneri has not given me this answer before. I just used her because I saw her picture. What is wrong with that response? Exactly. She's not scheduling connect calls, so she's getting herself into a bunch of problems, right? When I say to Yaneri, how's everything going, okay? And she says, oh, I have 5 people who just want to be customers. Time out. If you're saying, hey, friend, what do you know about CBD? Oh my gosh, I love CBD. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if you're open or looking, but I can, I just found a way to make money online in the CBD space, and I'd love to get you the information on the product or whatnot. Can you talk tomorrow at 10? Sure. where in that process did you find out that they just want to be a customer? Did you get that? You're having too much conversation with them ahead of time. Your job is to not have a conversation with them ahead to then set up a call. Your job is to peak them and then put them on the call so that, see, the more appropriate time for us to find out that they just want to be a customer is on the connect call, right? Is on the connect call. So they never want to jump on a call. That's a different problem. Okay, that's a different issue. That's a different answer. But I'm talking about the person who says to me that they're running into a bunch of excuses because they don't want to get on the call, right? So if somebody said to me, Mario, well, what's it all about? Dude, that's what the call's for tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Well, you know, can you tell me more about the product? Yeah, tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Oh, well, how much does it cost? Tomorrow at 10 o'clock. What's the website? 10o'clockam.com, right? Oh, well, how many milligrams? 10 o'clock, homeboy. See, the problem is if you're getting into questions before 10 o'clock, you lost. You're done. You're killing yourself. And if we get on the call and they still just want to be a customer, that's okay, because your upline will solidify you a customer. Because here's the other thing. If you have people in your network who say, I have a lot of friends who just want to be customers, but they're not actually getting into the system, they're lying to you. How many of you have enough courage to say, you know what, I have like 10 people who say they want to be customers, but they're just not doing it. Anybody like that? They're lying to you. Because a customer is a real customer when they make a purchase. And so how do you help them to make a purchase? Get them on the phone with Tanya, with Jackie, with Ricky, with Francoise, with myself, with Alex, with David, Cassie, the people who have been trained, right? So if they're not a customer in the system with a purchase, they're lying to you. And the reason they're lying to you is because you took yourself and put yourself in that place. Does that make sense, guys? So take another one. No, for me, it's I'm not interested, but I will try yours and support you, etc. So not necessarily. Okay, same thing. They don't have belief. I told someone that last night. What do you do if a person does not know when they can talk to me? I will wait at the gym for that. They're just lying to you, Grace. I don't know when I can talk. You don't know when you can talk. Yeah, I'm really busy. Okay, well, look at your schedule. Open it up. Do you see when there's a spot that's blank? That might be a time, right? So they're just lying. They feel calls are pressure sales. How do you see? A call is pressure sales when they know you're putting them on the phone with somebody else, right? So if I'm calling somebody that I know and I say, hey, what time? So warm market, dude, what time can you call tomorrow? I mean, what time can you talk tomorrow? I'll get you all the details. If they think that that's pressure sales, then I'm like, what? Like, it's me, bro. What are you talking about? I don't get that. And if it's a cold market person, right? And I say, hey, what time can you talk tomorrow? I'll get you all the details. They're literally responding, I feel like that's cold. That's high pressure sales. If they feel that way, it's because you're leading them to believe that it is. And usually if you're leading them to believe that it is, it's because you're telling them that you're going to get them on the phone with somebody. So then they're just making that up. Cheryl, how is that Cheryl Stuck? Oh, Pruitt that asked that. Okay. So Cheryl Pruitt. So they're just saying that to you. Is it cold market or warm market? Here, this is better. Where's Cheryl? Both. Okay. So it really has to do then with to be honest, it has to do with you. If it's a warm market person and you're saying to them, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, get you all the details, they shouldn't be responding saying, I feel like you're going to high pressure sell me. Because you're like, what are you talking about? It's me. I'm just going to get you the details. Maybe you're saying like, listen, tomorrow I'll give you a call. I'll break you down the project, the compensation plan, all the prices to get started, you know, what the timeline looks like and a game plan. Maybe that is high pressure sales, okay? But if you're just saying, hey, I'll call you tomorrow and break it all down for you, they shouldn't be receiving that. And if they're cold market and they're saying that to you, then number one, it's probably just an excuse, okay? They're just trying to push you away. Or number two, you're leading them to believe that some way or another, right? So usually, okay, want to know why I cannot tell them now. Because that's, so just like we talked about before, it's very difficult for me, Cheryl, to answer this question because I don't know what's going on beforehand. Why can't you just tell me now? That's a stupid cat and mouse game, right? First of all, you shouldn't be in that place. So maybe you've used a word like opportunity. Guys, if you are using the word opportunity anywhere in your verbiage or in your texts, you are leading them to believe that you're recruiting them and you're selling them, okay? So if somebody says to me, well, why can't you just tell me now? I would say the same thing that I said earlier. Our company is offering a revenue share option. And because of that, we don't just send out information. So if you're serious about learning more, the first step is a call so I can break it all down for you. And if not, you're probably not the right fit. Okay, does that make sense? So every CC I have, I say I'm in training, and I actually is the truth. That's why my business partner gets on and they say, okay, I wouldn't say that anyways though, Angie. I get that. If you're saying this before the call, don't. If you're saying it at the time of the transaction of the call, that's okay, right? So if you're saying like, hey, I'm in training, so at 10 o'clock, I'm going to introduce you to somebody else, you're going to lose. But if at the time of the call, when you're, which it sounds like she is, when you're introducing this person to your upline, it's okay to say, listen, just so you know, I'm super new. So I brought on Christina, she's my business partner, just so she could share her story with you and maybe answer any of your questions. And then you just go for it, okay? So that's good, that's okay. All right, so I told them, all right, good. All right, guys, I don't want to take too much of your time. I hope this was helpful, beneficial. Follow-up is huge, guys. And listen, number one, there's no cookie cutter answer to any of this. You're all going to learn these. They're like instincts. They're skills that you're going to learn over time. So just understand that. Okay. Don't be worried if you're not, great out of the gate. Everybody sucks at the beginning. Okay. Everybody does. Over time and experience. The only way you're going to learn it is by getting in the game, right? Like think about this. If any of you guys have ever played sports, you don't get better sitting on the bench. You get better in the game, right? So there's personal development, there's studying, there's getting better, creating knowledge, but the only way you're going to get better is by getting getting the virtual door slammed in your face, right? That's the only way you're going to get better. So don't let that hold you from just, getting your hands dirty and getting in there, okay? So have a great day, guys. God bless you, and we'll talk soon, okay? Bye-bye.